Hey everybody, it's me, Buster Green, and I like video games a lot, and I also like anime, which is why I like Japanese video games that contain anime or are based on anime. Now, about a week ago, there was a Level-5 Direct, kind of in the style of the Nintendo Directs, but like more bootleg, and it was released in Japan and directed at Japanese audiences. I'm just hearing about it today. Anyway, it's good news because it means Level-5 is coming back, and that's great because Level-5 hasn't released a game in America since the pandemic. Now, if you guys want to watch the original video, it's available on Level-5's YouTube channel, and even though it's a Japanese video, it's got English subs. Anyway, I'm doing this because today some nice lady from Asia came out of the internet and asked me to do a react video to this, and she was so nice, I figured, why the hell not? I need to make a video today anyway to keep my YouTube channel soluble. So I'm just going to do a pretty quick summary of what was in the video, what excited me, what didn't excite me, and tell some jokes along the way. So if you guys are unfamiliar with Level-5, Level-5 is one of the coolest companies in Japan in terms of making video games. They picked up a lot of people from Nintendo and Capcom over the years, and they're great. However, Level-5 has been very, very inactive in the past 5 years, especially with the pandemic, with their only substantial recent release being a very lazy Switch port of their very lazy 3DS port of their very lazy cell phone spin-off of the Professor Layton series, where it was suddenly about Professor Layton's like bimbo daughter or whatever. Now, I played this game, it was very uncharming and a major downgrade from the previous 3DS intended Layton games. Anyway, so let's get this video started. Watching the video, it comes out with the owner of Level-5. He's a programmer named Akihiro Hino, and bizarrely in this video, he has taken on this completely unnatural form where he looks exactly like Super Mario, but without the mustache, and like a very business-oriented Super Mario. It's very unsettling and it's very weird. Look, I know a lot of people are really hyped about the Mario movie coming out, but Akihiro Hino over here, this man is trying to live his best life as Super Mario, and quite frankly, it's disturbing me. Anyway, so the biggest thing that this video goes over is Level-5's new AAA quality console RPG Decapolice, which I have never heard of before now. I kept thinking when I was being told about it that they were trying to tell me about Deca Ranger, but no, it's a new game called Decapolice, which is a pun in Japanese. Now, this game looks really cool, and this trailer puts it into full perspective and gives you a pretty sick introduction to it. So you got this stereotypical anime hero team, you got these like stereotypical 1980s crime drama tropes, and then it like branches off into like some standard Ghost in the Shell VR madness, but everyone's driving like classic cars from the 60s. And yeah, all in all, Decapolice doesn't look half bad. I can see why people are very hyped about it. On top of that, it looks like you have to do some light actual crime solving mechanics, which gives me some vibes of both the Professor Layton series and the Judgment series if they had like cross-pollinated and had a baby. But then on top of that, for some reason, this police crime game has RPG style turn-based battle mechanics against monsters with a very strong anime aesthetic, and I completely don't know what that's about. And then on top of that, there's this like weird in-game metaverse where all the characters suddenly become furries. And okay, you lost me there. I was 100% sold on this game until they made all the characters furries. I don't like furries. Honestly, this grosses me out. I like to embarrass people. So, in conclusion, I guess I like 90% approve of Decapolice. It looks completely great, except for the stupid furry thing. Then for some reason, they go to a second trailer. Now, the second trailer is completely different stylistically. The first trailer was all cinematic and cool, and the second trailer is more like a corporate explainer video explaining what the game is and how all the mechanics work. So, yeah, as it turns out, this game is like a cyberpunk, classic car, anime combination, mystery-solving RPG game. So, yeah, once again, all that right up in my alley. Okay, so that's Decapolice. They move on. Now, the next game they focus on is Fantasy Life. This franchise bores the shit out of me. At this point, I switched the video up to double speed because on top of just straight up disliking this game, the narration got incredibly slow. So this game is just a ripoff of Animal Crossing with slightly different mechanics. And you know what those mechanics are? They're grinding. It's literally just Animal Crossing with grinding, which is somehow the only way you could make Animal Crossing worse, by introducing grinding. Like, my god, no one likes monster grinding, so why would you put it into such a boring ass game as Animal Crossing? Ugh. So then Super Akihiro does another level 5 pose, and thankfully we move on. Then after that, we get the trailer for the new console Megaton Musashi game, which is apparently going to have full crossplay between PC, Switch, PS4, and PS5. That is crazy. I'm pretty sure that's the first video game to pull this off, and I'm really impressed that they managed to develop this. Anyway, so yeah, the trailer fully showcases Mazinger, GETTER, Robo, and Grendizer, but then it adds in 2 additional super robots that I was not expecting. We are also getting Voltes 5 and Combattler V. Fuck yes. I cannot wait to get my Combattler V on in this game. I am so sold at this game already at this point. Yeah, Megaton Musashi W looks so hardcore. I'm really hoping the Super Robot crossovers have like some kind of like tie into the story. I doubt it since it looks like they're just going to be parts, but I'm really hoping there'll be like at least one like mission that like mentions like Getter Ray Energy or like Dr. Hell or like any of that shit. That'll like make me like so fucking hype. Anyway, then Super Akihiro says Megaton Musashi W is an improvement of the old game ported for international audiences, and that's that. So yeah, that game is probably the game I want the most out of this video. Now after that, we get another strong entry in this video, and that's Professor Layton 7. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with the franchise, the Professor Layton series has supposed to been long dead and long over. And the last game that came out was Professor Layton 6 on the 3DS. However, the Professor Layton games are just too much of a cash cow to just like let them die. So instead, now we're getting this amazing new console evolution of the franchise where Professor Layton comes back and he's in a Led Zeppelin and he's going to Steampunk City. Now, look, these games were always pretty basic in the long run. They were literally just a map and puzzles, so that's why they were always such huge financial successes, because like they took like half as much money to like develop as a normal game. But yeah, there's some like hype shit in this trailer, like Luke is back. Luke is slightly older than he's ever been before, like older than like his oldest canonical appearance at the end of Layton 3. And it looks like we're finally getting the story to advance a little bit further. So apparently this game takes place 1 year after Professor Layton 3, and it takes place in the United States of America, which is really weird because they're telling us that America is a steampunk country in the Layton universe. What the heck? Look, I've always been confused at whether or not the Professor Layton series took place in the current day or 100 years in the past, because it has like a very unclear timeless quality to it and like no one has the internet. But this one seems like it's like definitely taking place 100 years ago because of all the steampunk nonsense. Now, at this point, to be really helpful, Akihiro Hino pops in with the Professor Layton timeline, which is actually something I really wanted to talk about this second. So that is so helpful. So let's talk about the timeline, cluing you guys in case you've never actually played the games. So they made Professor Layton 1, 2, and 3 on the DS back in the day. But then after that, they made Professor Layton 4, 5, and 6 on the 3DS. But the catch was the 3DS games were all prequels to Professor Layton 1 because Professor Layton 3 had such a crazy ending that it effectively killed the story and left it with like no room to like proceed forward. Except now they finally changed all that with Professor Layton 7 because they finally managed to move past the ending of Professor Layton 3 and they finally managed to move the story forward, which honestly impresses the shit out of me. That is some very impressive writing. Honestly, that's a feat. Fully got to take a bow and be impressed by what Akihiro Hino has done. That being said, right after I said, thought, and wrote this, Akihiro Hino then toots his own horn and says to himself how impressive it is that he himself was able to surpass his own Layton 3 ending after all these years. Yeah, that's what I just said. Anyway, so the last game on the Direct is Inazuma 11, and I don't like soccer, so I turned the video off at this point. Okay, so yeah, I think I can safely say I'm going to try to buy 3 out of 5 of those games. Definitely Megaton Musashi. That is priority 1. Almost definitely Layton 7, as long as it comes out at like a good time when I have nothing else going on. And yeah, Decapolice is intriguing. Like, it's not perfect because the furries creep me out, but otherwise, like, it looks pretty cool. My biggest problem with all these cool-ass games coming out is whether or not I'll actually have time to play them when they come out, and if I'll have money to buy them to justify playing them. Alright, well, that's my reaction to the Direct video, you guys. Once again, if you want to watch the whole thing, it's like half an hour, so this was the condensed version. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought. Did you like any of these games? Have you played any of the previous entries in these series? Let me know. Wow, this might be the coolest Getter Robo game ever. Alright, later guys.